What is up, my friends? You know what time of the year it is. NCAA tournament. I'm going to fill out my bracket here with you right now. Let's go. All right, so I have not filled one out. This is going to be my first official one. I have gone through everything, teams I like, and stuff like that. But I'm going to fill it out with you right now. What we're going to do is we're going to start with what you can see, and then we're going to move down to what we can't. Let's go ahead and start off right here. Duke, Siena. That'll be an easy one. Duke it is. Ohio State, TCU. Not a huge fan of either of these teams, but I'm going to go with Ohio State, even though it pains me to say that. This is where we're getting a lot of flack in the media saying that St. John's kind of got screwed with their placement and where they are. But if you watch St. John's, I don't think they're a great team. I think they overpower people with their defense and stuff, but they're not a great offense at all. And I don't love them as a long term team, but I do think they will get by Northern Iowa right here. And Kansas is another team that I've watched a lot of, and I just do not like. I do not trust them, but they have Peterson, and he could just go off. I'm really excited to see this matchup right here. Next up, Louisville and South Florida. I will go with Louisville here personally because I kind of want to see Mikael Brown keep going. Michigan State all the time. There's a few things you can count on in life, and Michigan State doing well in the NCAA tournament is one of them. Now let's head over here to the West. Arizona, number one seed, 100%. Villanova, Utah State. I am going to go with Utah State in this one. This one was tough because I think both of these teams have stuff. Both of these 4-5s have some stuff that they can do. I think Acuff is a flat out stud. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Arkansas. This Wisconsin team, as annoying as they can be and as annoying as they were in the Big Ten tournament this weekend, I will have to pick them too. Texas, North Carolina State. I don't think any of those teams are going to do anything. So I will pick BYU here. Gonzaga, Kennesaw State. I will pick Gonzaga. Let's go to the 7-10 over here. We got UCLA or UCF. I will go UCLA. And of course, I will go UConn over Furman. Back over here, Miami or Missouri. I will go with Missouri on this one. I think they are the tougher team. I have watched them numerous times just kind of beat people up. I will go with Missouri. Purdue, we'll go with Purdue here. Okay, there is our round of 32 up in these brackets. Let's go ahead and finish these brackets off. Duke over Ohio State. Yes, I agree. I do think Duke is not a slam dunk of a team to win it all, but I do think they will get by Ohio State. Now, this is one that I hope we see because I want to see what Darren Peterson shows up. Which one? Because this going against St. John's is not going to be easy. He is going to have to do a lot because I think a lot of the secondary guys for Kansas, St. John's is going to mess with because again, like I said before, they are a great defensive team. But Peterson is Peterson. If he decides to show up, if this guy is going to use this time to prove he's the number one pick, then he's going to do it. I am going to go out on a limb and say he is going to show up because he wants that number one pick because Debanza and Boozer are coming for him. So I'm going to pick Kansas. Now, down here, Louisville and Michigan State. Like I said over here, you can always count on Tom Izzo. Michigan State it is. And we are starting to now this one UCLA is a team that sometimes I can watch them and I feel like they can be a top 10 team in the whole country and sometimes I see them and I'm like this team is garbage. So, with UConn being as solid as they are, I will go UConn. Over here, round of 32 to get to Sweet 16, Arizona. This is a tough one. This is a tough one. I really like Acuff. I think and I really dislike some of the guys on Wisconsin, aka their point guard Boyd. But Arkansas, I think Arkansas is going to win this because I think Acuff is a damn good guy and he's out to prove something. Arkansas, BYU, Gonzaga. I think BYU got a pretty good seeding here, especially going up against a Gonzaga team that is not the Gonzaga of old. They are still very good, but they are not Gonzaga of old. I'm really excited to see this because Gonzaga is very long and physical, and I feel like they're going to do really well against Debanza. but I'm going to go with Debanza mainly because I want to keep seeing him play. So I will go BYU in the upset. Over here, Purdue doing it. All right, to get to the final, Elite Eight, to get to the Final Four, Duke, Kansas, Michigan State, UConn. I am going to go Duke over Kansas because I think that as a team, Duke is just better. Michigan State, UConn. This is a tough one because I feel like UConn has more talent, but Michigan State just, again, I've watched this beat the living crap out of you. So I'm going to go Michigan State in the upset to get to the Elite Eight. Here we go. Arizona, Arkansas. I think ACUF is great, but I think Arizona is way too big for the Arkansas Bigs. As good as Trayvon Brazil is playing, which he's playing out of his mind, probably the best ball of his life. The boys at Arizona are just different, and I think they're going to get it done. BYU, Purdue. Not a big fan of Purdue as a number 2 seed, but I think they're going to get a pretty easy draw here because I think they're going to overwhelm Debanza and the rest of the team at BYU, so I take Purdue. Now, to get to the Final Four, Duke, Michigan State, Arizona, Purdue. I go Duke, and I go Arizona. Pretty simple for me. I didn't really have to think too much about that one. Now let's go down to the other brackets. Here we go. Florida versus one of those. I think you know we're going there. Florida, Clemson, Iowa. I really like this Clemson team. I feel like they were one that I could see making a pretty big run. I just like the way they play. So I will go with Clemson. Vanderbilt, McNeese State, Troy, and Nebraska. I like both Vandy and Nebraska here. I do not see an upset with these teams because I don't feel like these teams are very fluctuating. They're just a solid team, and I feel like these upsets are going to teams that are going to be coming in the next bracket, just kind of all over the place. So I'm going to go Vandy and Nebraska. North Carolina, VCU, Illinois, Penn. I like Illinois a lot. I think this team is really talented, but I think Penn is a really tough matchup with an elite score. But I think Illinois' length on defense is going to prevail. North Carolina, I do not think VCU is going to give them enough. I think their overwhelming talent is just going to do it. We'll see how long that goes. Go over here, Michigan. Yep, Georgia, St. Louis. I think St. Louis. I like St. Louis. Texas Tech, Akron, and Alabama Hofstra. This is one, Texas Tech. I really, watching them is very confusing, and especially with Anderson getting hurt in the Big 12 tournament because of that stupid floor. I don't know how 100% they are, especially with topping out too, and then Anderson. So I'm going to go with my upset here with Akron and Alabama. Not a huge fan of this team. They don't play any defense at all, and their second leading scorer just got in trouble with the law. Who knows what that's going to do? Upset again, Hofstra. Tennessee versus Miami, Ohio, or SMU. I'm not going to pick either of those. I'm going to pick Tennessee and Nate Ament. Number 3, Virginia versus Wright State. Not a huge fan of this Virginia team. I just do not think they have the top level talent. I think it'll be okay against Wright State, but we'll see moving forward. Let's go down here. St. Mary's, Texas A&M. This is not the St. Mary's of old. They do not have the same talent that they have in the past. But I do. This is a tough one. This is a tough one right here because Texas A&M is just one of those gritty, hard-nosed teams, and the old St. Mary's teams I think could outwit them and out tough them. But I just don't know if they're the same. So I'm going to go with the upset here of Texas A&M and not happening. Houston. Kentucky, Santa Clara. Not a fan of Kentucky at all. Honestly, I don't know much about Santa Clara, but I do know how much I do not like Kentucky. Santa Clara it is. Next up, Iowa State, Tennessee State. Not happening for me, kids. Okay, here we go. Florida, Clemson at the top. Do I think Florida is a slam dunk? I do not because they relied so much on Clayton Jr. last year to bail them out. Now I do love their big men. Um, I do think they're going to be first round picks, but their guards are just not the same. But I don't think it's going to hurt them here. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Florida. Vanderbilt really liked their run in the SEC tournament. I thought Nebraska was playing really well, and at the beginning of the year, they're not really playing too well. As of late, I'm going to go with the team that's a little hotter. I think this is a very evenly matched game. I think Vandy is playing a little hotter right now. So let's go with Vanderbilt. North Carolina, Illinois. I really like this Illinois team, and I think they're going to just overwhelm North Carolina, especially without Caleb Wilson. I would have loved to see this for Caleb because Illinois is just a big, mean team, super long that can guard. And I thought this would be a really good test for Caleb going into the draft. But I'm going to go ahead and pick Illinois, Texas A&M, Houston. No, Houston it is. Let's go over here. Michigan, St. Louis. As much as I like St. Louis, Michigan it is. Akron, Hofstra. I'm going to go Akron. Tennessee, Virginia. Again, I did said before, I'm not a huge fan of the Virginia team. I feel like they are very systemy and they don't have a lot of the top end talent, whereas Virginia has the top end talent, and he is playing the best that he's played all year long. Nate Ament. So selfishly for draft reasons, Tennessee it is. Iowa State, Santa Clara, Iowa State. I really like this Iowa State team. Now let's see who we're going to get. This is a Sweet 16 of Virginia and Vandy. I like Vandy, but I just like Florida more. I just don't know if Vandy has the I think that Florida's overall talent is just going to beat Vandy's mainly one guy and then some other really good players. But I think Florida is going to go this. This one is tough. This one is really, really tough. These are two teams that I like. I would probably say these are the two teams I've watched the most this year, mainly because of their guards. And I really hope this matchup comes selfishly for the NBA draft. Kingston, Flemings, and Wagler. I really want to see them play against each other because I feel like they're very different. I love Wagler and I love Flemings. I think they're both top 10 picks, deserving. So this is a real tough one. You could see me live struggling with this one. This was the biggest one before I started this that I knew I was going to have the biggest issue with is right here. So the town I grew up in of Champaign-Urbana is the home of Illinois. I am going to go with my heart here. Maybe not. Oh man, this is tough. I'm gonna take a pause on this one. Let's go over here. Michigan, Akron. Yes, Michigan it is. Iowa State, Tennessee. There are sometimes I watch Iowa State and I think they are the best team in the whole NCAA because they are so physical and so deep. But then I can watch them and they just sometimes the stuff just doesn't go in and it doesn't work. And I just don't know why. I don't know if the coach knows why, but he has the same issues I do. I am going to go with another upset here of Nate Ament and put him in Tennessee through to face Michigan. Now, here's where we're going to get their butt whooped. I think Nate Ament is going to over talent these two teams, three teams, and then he's going to get here and he's going to run into three first round pick big men, and he's going to be like, oh crap, this is different. I pick Michigan. So this leaves me back Sophie's choice here. Illinois, where I'm from, hometown, all that stuff. Houston, a team that I absolutely love. I love to watch Kelvin Sampson's teams. I always have. I do think both of these teams, honestly, I think Illinois or Houston are going to beat Florida. So this is my pick for the Final Four, either Illinois or Houston. Hmm. I am going to say, so what I'm going to go with is I'm going to go with the Houston Cougars reluctantly. I don't feel good about this, but I'm going to go with the Houston Cougars to beat Illinois and then upset Florida to get to the Final Four. And here we go. Final Four. Duke, Houston, Arizona, Michigan. I think this is going to be really, really good matchups both ways. I think Duke is going to, I think Houston has the bodies to frustrate Duke and to put a lot of pressure on Cam Boozer with Sinak and Tugler. That's going to be probably Boozer's most challenged game, and I think it's gonna come down to can Dame Sar slow down or Isaiah Evans slow down Fleming's enough. I'm going to say no, and I'm going to pick Duke. Over here, Arizona versus Michigan. I think this is a battle of, this is going to be one of those games from back when I was growing up, when I started watching college ball, of just big ass front lines beating the crap out of each other. I think that the Arizona guards are going to be better than the Michigan guards. Reluctantly, I'm going to say this. So I'm going to say Arizona Duke in the title game. And I'm going to say this is where Cam Boozer takes the cake. The greatest freshman runs that we have ever seen to rival Carmelo Anthony. And I'm going to say Duke is going to pull it out for the national championship. There you go, my friends. That was my live bracket breakdown. You saw my brain working. You saw me struggle with some picks and then come out with this Duke, Arizona in the final game, with Duke coming out on top. My final four being Duke versus Houston, Arizona versus Michigan. Please watch this. I hope you like it. I know the picks are going to suck because that's how it always happens. Hopefully yours don't suck as bad as mine are going to do. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and we'll talk soon.